Hi, thank you for coming.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
What is your name?
My name is Bianca Lara.
Bianca. Well, I'm going to ask you a set of questions, and let's go right into it. Do you consider it overall an active person?
Overall, I wish I was, but if I'm being honest, no, I don't consider myself an overall active person. I do try to go to the gym and stay active, but am I competing? No. Do I have a set sport? No. But I mean, am I trying to stay up? Yes.
Okay, well, you mentioned sports, so what would be your definition of an extreme sport?
An extreme sport. I believe an extreme sport is something that just gets your blood rushing. Something that maybe you normally wouldn't do, or maybe some people would do, but it's something that's to the next level. It wouldn't just be going for a walk or riding your bike. It would be like bungee jumping, skydiving, um, going rock climbing, or something with that aspect, something that gives you that adrenaline rush.
Wow, I can see you're a little passionate about it. Have you ever performed in an extreme sport?
Actually, now that you're mentioning it, yes. And actually, the craziest thing is the first time I ever performed an extreme sport was actually two in one day. It was a couple years ago when I went to the Dominican Republic. I believe what it's called, it's free mountain karting and cliff diving.
Okay, you want to tell me a little bit about the two experiences or two sports?
Yeah, of course. So, what mountain kart riding is you go in a go kart, and there's no track, there's no set of, you have to go this way, you have to go that way. It's kind of like you're free, you're following some sort of path, and you're sliding over. It's mud everywhere, you're kind of just drifting. You're going so fast that you're actually flying off the car and kind of jumping a little bit. I remember the tour guide, because I did it on a trip, he actually said, hey, be careful, make sure you're wearing your seatbelt, because if you go too fast, the car could flip over. And thankfully for us, it didn't. But it was just, it was something that was really fun. And, it was just going fast and, going fast, drifting, getting a bit of mud on your face. I think even that day I got feces on my face, like hard
Wow.
feces.
Did somebody make you do this or talk you into it?
I did it with my dad, actually. Originally, it was a father-daughter experience. So he invited me to do it, and it sounded like a good idea at first. I didn't realize it was gonna be what I thought it was. When he said, oh yeah, we're gonna go in like little go-karts, I'm like, okay, it's like we're going for a drive in the car. I didn't really think much about it. And then I saw this weird little cart with seatbelts, but like dirt everywhere. And I thought to myself, I'm like, oh no, this is not what I'm thinking about. And, we started going, and it was something that I was scared to do at first, because I was just scared that I was going to flip over. I was scared that I was going to go so fast and hit my head, because there was no windows, there was no anything. It was just like metal pieces of rod. And afterwards, we went cave diving, and I actually was the only one did it. I was the first one to do it. And I remember that day they gave us like a life waiver and said, just sign this in case anything happens, like don't try to sue us. And everyone was, I guess maybe I should explain what cave diving is. Cave diving is, I did it in what's called a cenote, which is an underground cave filled with spring water. And from what the tour guide told us, it used to be they would push people in so they could drown, and they could die once they committed a crime. And because it's 100 foot deep, and because the sharp edges, people could die really easily. But now it's kind of more like an extreme sport. So what happened is they asked us if we wanted to go, dive off this cliff, and everyone was kind of nervous and they didn't really want to do it. And I thought to myself, hey, I've been swimming for quite a while. I'll volunteer. I was the first one to do it.
So what was going through your head when you were going through this sport?
When I was going through my head, I was just thinking, I honestly didn't think it was going to be as bad as it actually was for both activities. I thought it was just going to be a piece of cake. It was going to be, breeze, but no, it was actually kind of scary. I mean, I talked a lot about the go-kart, but when I was going off that cliff, I mean, I just looked down and it was like deep water and, the sharp edges. I was kind of scared to go down, but as soon as I jumped off that ledge and I could just feel myself floating in the air, I got this rush, and it was this rush that I was scared at the same time, but I was excited at the same time.
Did you feel like your life was in danger?
At first, yes. I mean, it's those first few seconds that you're just like, I don't know what's gonna happen, and then you kind of go into flight or fight mode, and you're like, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna do it. I mean, there's no going back now, so might as well do it because I know it's gonna be a memory that I'm gonna remember.
Wow, that's a great bonding experience. So, how did you feel afterwards?
Afterwards, I felt free. I felt like I could do anything. I mean, yes, it was scary at first, and I felt like my life was in danger, but after I did it, I'm like, I conquered death. I could go jump skiing right now. I could go bungee diving. I could do anything because if this didn't bring me down, nothing can.
Would you recommend this sport to someone else?
Yes, I definitely would recommend it to someone else. I mean, that was my first time doing it, but it wasn't my last. I've done it multiple times after, and I mean, anyone who's scared or thinking about going cave diving or thinking about going free go-kart racing, you should do it. I mean, it's definitely a memory that you're gonna remember, and it's gonna be something that might be a little scary at first, but you'll get through it and you'll be happy that you did it.
Wow, you've been great. Well, thank you for spending time with us and explaining your sport. And it's great to have you here, and feel free to come back anytime. So thank you again, Bianca.
Well, thank you so much for having me.